Hello, hello. So today is the 4th of April. More specifically, in the Chinese calendar, it is Moon 2, day 17. So I'm still getting confused between the two dates, and I start writing one when I'm writing the date for the other. So, but yeah, so I'm still referring to the book. So today is quite an interesting subject. It is called Clearing the Field. And when we're talking about, so this is referring to the field as in because it's springtime, clearing the field of all the brush, all that kind of stuff. So I'm weeding the garden. And interesting enough, that is the course I'm just starting as like a CPD thing, which is using acupuncture techniques but through crystals again. But this is another form effectively. Ultimately, is clearing entities. When we talk about entities, we're not just talking about like ghosts and beings, that kind of thing. So it's anything that's been in place for that long enough that it's taken hold. So these are clearing techniques. So it's a good old saying that before you plant flowers, you need to weed the garden. So before you start trying to heal something, you need to get rid of all the crap from before. So clearing the field is, in this sense, it's looking at, because we're in spring. So I'm going to read a bit from this again, obviously the Lunar Tao. So this is the guide I'm using for day by day, and then I'm just adding bits in as from my own experience and from the Tao Te Ching, etc. Okay, so so look at the heaps: tangled stems, withered leaves, gnarled roots, stained and pungent with damp earth. The pile is left to dry and then it is burned. The ash that's left then goes back to the soil. The spiritual life is like that too. If we are to have any chance of gaining spiritual freedom, we need to clear our fields. Okay, so I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, so yeah, finally came around to actually having like 3-4 days off, you know, and decided to get a cold at the same time. Okay, so yeah, dig up and discard the bad things in your past, pile them up, let them sit in the sun so that they wither and dry, burn them. For you are doubly free afterwards. Your field will be clear and will be enriched by the very ash of what were once hidden obstacles. So we're talking about shadow work, obviously, as well. There's another way of doing it: talk therapy, psychotherapy, all this kind of stuff. There's lots of different ways of doing it. The way I do it, obviously, is through the meridians and stuff. So yeah. Excuse me. So I'm going to teach a couple of very quick, easy bits of Dao Yin, because I have 20 years experience of that and I teach. So this is purely, there was one I was going to teach yesterday, so I'm going to teach that one first. And this is very much for the gallbladder. So anytime you have this kind of twist, the gallbladder channel obviously has like 44 points running from point 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up at the top, all the way down to 12, back over to 14, 15, 13, 14, 15, 19, all the way down to 20, and then it kind of goes into the traps and then it zigzags down the side. So this, everything from the kind of rib cage downwards, torso through to toes, is the part of the gallbladder channel that you're really going to work with Qigong Dao Yin. Yeah, other than that, you would be more sort of hands-on with the actual points on the head. Excuse me. Okay, so really key points around here: gallbladder 25, which is for the kidneys, and then gallbladder 26, 27, 28, and then 29, which is just here, which is a key point for the hips, for arthritis. Gallbladder 30, which is the piriformis, again for piriformis syndrome, and then down to 31, which is for internal wind, etc. And then once we get down into the legs down here, we're talking more about sort of ligament, tendon, local points. And then 34 and 40 are the best points in the body for relaxing and releasing sinews, so for stress and everything else. But overly tight ligaments and tendons as well. So 34 for the whole body, but 40 is a better one if you're going specifically for the ankle. And then there's bits in between. There's a lot of stuff in there which is good for marrow, which is for the brain, bone marrow, the spinal cord, the nervous system, and the brain. And 37, which is the best point in the body for the eyes, because it connects to the liver channel, and the liver feeds the eyes as well as the hands, feet, genitals, head, which I think I mentioned all that yesterday. So, I did mention obviously liver gallbladder yesterday is all to do with stagnation, chi stagnation. So it's all to do, well, its purpose is to move chi and therefore move blood when we're talking about the energetics of the liver and gallbladder, not the physical attributes of the organs themselves. Their purpose is to filter blood and to detox and to produce bile, and which breaks down fats, all that kind of stuff. But, so, any type of moving Daoyin, Qigong, etc. will have these kind of, well, any kind of movement that is soft and relaxed and flowing and synchronized with breath is the main thing, will have this effect of moving chi and getting rid of chi stagnation. So frustration and ruminating and things, again, these will all cause chi stagnation, as well as further mental health problems, all that kind of stuff. So getting up and moving, you don't have to be fully able to do, you can do this from a wheelchair, you can do many things in that sense. It's just a case of getting up and doing it, so you don't have to be already physically strong in order to do any kind of Qigong or Daoyin. Yeah, there's lots of different versions, and anything that has movement to it rather than the static, more meditation type Qigong will help. Okay, so now that we know that gallbladder runs all the way down the side, and so from here, this 25, so at the end of the 12th rib, the floating rib, kind of from here, so all of this 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30 are points where we are really trying to open in this movement. So you bend your knees, so it's not just a rotation on the spot, because that is just working your obliques. There is a slight tip and then round. So if I had a pole behind me and I just rotate, I'm just going to hit into the pole. So I want to get around the pole and look. If you think like if a wall was here and I was a sniper, or I'm not going to go that, because I'm just going to be looking at the wall. I want to look around the wall. So it's that same purpose, and you will feel a stretch sort of here. So this is my hip. This is my fatty bits, just up there. Okay, so that's the first thing. You bend your knees always. Never rotate on a locked out knee. Lower back is flat. Arms, as you tilt, arms come out this way. As you return, so this is, as you return, your hands then rotate in this way. So I'll do it from this way. So the hands come here and they unwind to here. So it's palm up, palm up. So I'll show that. I'll stand further back. Hopefully you'll be able to see all of that. But you are working through the large intestine as well, which is all up here in the main point of in between the medial deltoid and the anterior head of the deltoid. But back here you have the posterior head of the deltoid and the medial head, and that is the Sanjiao channel. The Sanjiao channel is the Xiao-yang of the arm, and the gallbladder is the Xiao-yang of the foot. So in this movement, you are working both, and both work each other and feed each other, etc. So I'll show you from this way. Knees bent, lower back flat, crown raised, tilt. I'm going to go this way just so you can see that. Tilt. And then drop, turn, push. Okay, so from this way, this is all one in breath. So one is in breathing in, 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 full lung capacity, still breathing in, and sink. All the energy sinks to here, to down to the end. Turn the hands, breathe out. Yeah? So it's, and breathe out. Yeah? Okay. So that's a nice easy one. Well, it's not an easy one. It's actually one that takes a little bit of time, but and it's not that easy to demonstrate on camera. But okay. So I did just mention the Sanjiao. The Sanjiao is referring to three different parts. So the upper jiao, the middle jiao, the lower jiao. The upper jiao is the lung and heart. The middle jiao is the stomach and spleen and the gallbladder and the liver. the more digestive side, and then the drainage ditch, or the things that are clearing, is more the large intestine and the kidneys and everything else, which is the lower jiao. All the kidneys are kind of in between the two, but yeah, it's still considered the lower jiao because they're affiliated with water, and water is yin and that is down, fire is up and that is yang, and the heart is fire, etc. Okay, last bit. So the sanjiao. The sanjiao is a way of treating. It's like, you think of it like a harmonizer in some ways. It has a load of points in there as well, which are local points for physical attributes of whatever. We're talking about triceps and bits and pieces around here. And also it can treat the eyes, it can treat the ears, etc., because it runs around those points. But the sanjiao is a harmonizer, much like you would use a harmonizer in essential oils, or you would use a harmonizer in something like a concoction, in herbology, etc. So it has a sound to it. The sound is TSSS, and it's this kind of sinking and dropping. Yeah. So gradually we'll come across also the liver is the sh sound, and the sanjiao is the TS sound. The heart is ha sound, all that kind of stuff. So effectively coming off of that subject we were just talking about, clearing the field, getting rid of the weeds so you can plant, all that stuff. So this movement is often referred to as rejecting the old, embracing the new. So as you breathe in this way, hands rotate, breathe in, hands come up, gathering from above, hands drop down, and you'll notice that you'll see other things that have exactly the same. So I'm just hitting the lampshade as I'm doing that. Open, breathe in, breathe out. And this is a movement that's often added to the end of lots of different Daoyin Qigong sequences. So Daoyin, the forms effectively, they always generally have 8 movements, and at the end of that you would have like this gathering and clearing. So working through the upper jiao, lower jiao, middle jiao, and then gathering this way 3 times to dantian, lower dantian, and then you finish. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. We are running a bit over time. We're over 10 minutes. So, yes, there you go. So I'm just going to read this one through. So some say that my teaching is nonsense. Others call it lofty but impractical. But to those who have looked inside themselves, this nonsense makes perfect sense. And to those who put it into practice, this loftiness has roots that go deep. I have just 3 things to teach: simplicity, patience, compassion. These 3 are your greatest treasures. Simple in actions and in thoughts, you return to the source of the being. Simple in actions and in thoughts, you return to the source of being. Patient with both friends and enemies, you accord with the way things are. Compassionate towards yourself, you reconcile all beings in the world. Okay. That is everything for today. My name's Ollie, this is Red Sun Horizons. I'm an Eastern physiotherapist practitioner from the south of England, Portsmouth, Southsea, UK. You can follow me on Instagram as well, which is Red Sun Horizons, and also Facebook is just called Red Sun Horizons. But the title of this channel on YouTube, I am going to be changing very soon. I'm just trying to think of the exact title, but it's going to be something that's more in alignment with what this is rather than just my business name. So that's everything for today. I will see you tomorrow.